This is the Mulligan Stew podcast. I'm Terry David Mulligan, thus the name. The radio show is Mulligan Stew, but the podcast is the podcast. We're approaching episode 200. 200 is going to be cool. It's going to be a really cool interview. A discovered interview that I'd forgotten I had. And I've been moving and packing and running across tapes and things that I had forgotten, not only that I had, but forgotten I'd ever done interviews. One of them is with Solomon Burke just before he died. And I couldn't bring myself to listen to his voice and edit it. I just couldn't. It just broke my heart. He was such a really fine man. And so I put the interview away. I couldn't. Then when I went to look for it, I couldn't find it. I finally found it, or it found me. It found me. So Solomon Burke is coming up as well. So the guest for this edition, 196, is Keb Mo, Kevin Moore when he was growing up. And somebody in one of the bands decided to call him Keb Mo, as a sort of a neighborhood shortening of his name, Kevin Moore. And it stuck, and it's still there to this day. Although he does respond to Kevin, and I'm sure Mr. Moore. Now, he's got 5 Grammys, Junos. He's won lots of awards, appeared in film, not an actor, just playing characters, much like himself. This particular album happened because during the lockdown, Keb had lost his mom, loved his mom. And she had raised him in a house in Compton. And even though she had come from the deep south. And Kevin decided to, during the lockdown, to go back and fix up that house in honor of his mom and the family and the memories. And he wrote tunes while he was in those rooms. And he traveled between Compton and Nashville to get the album done. And boy, did he ever. The songs are very, very good. And the album's been a complete success from the get-go. So rather than me talk, let's let Keb talk, because he's a talker. Listen to what he has to say. Not just what he starts to say, but what he puts in the middle and finishes like a sandwich. The feeling is really good. It's a love letter to Compton. We talk about Black History, the month. We discover how little we knew about Compton as a community, the Compton Cowboys, who are seen in the video of Good to Be Home Again, riding around. He covers Bill Withers' Lean on Me, and we compare Bill Withers' notes, because he was a friend to Keb. It's truly a heart-lifting, hopeful, wonderful interview. I hope you enjoy this and the comments of the man himself. And listen to the music. The music's fantastic. It's called Good to Be, and it's out now. It's very good. Here's our conversation with Keb Mo. My wife saw me shaving and cleaning up at 7:30 this morning, and she said, boy, it must be a big deal.
Well, we're on television, kind of.
Yeah. I'm Terry David Mulligan, and this is Mulligan Stew, the greatest radio network in this country, in Canada, CKUA Radio and the podcast. And we have a mutual friend. We had a couple of mutual friends, actually. Colin Linden is a great friend of mine.
Yes.
Congratulations on your Grammy win, you in
thank
Oklahoma.
you.
Congratulations. And the other friend, actually, that we had, as I understand, is Bill Withers.
Oh, yeah. Yes, man. May rest in peace and to the heavens royally.
I wanted to ask you about, because we're just in the end of February, Black History Month, or as you called it, Black Our Story Month. How successful has it been, do you think, Kev, with getting the stories and the stories out to everyone, not just white, but black, their own history? How's it doing?
Well, every month is Black History Month for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't really look at February as, I know it's a special month, but I I'm always celebrating our history and celebrating the legacy of who
Yeah.
we are in this country and who
Yeah.
we are in the world, and also who we all are. You know, I think, and I don't like to separate too much on segregating history. I mean, like the more we pull things apart, you know, I just, you know, I mean, having a Black History Month indicates that, like, you know, that, you know, here's a, to me, it could be like, it's special, but, you know, there's 11 months of all the other history.
Yeah.
And why not this? Maybe there should be a Chinese History Month, a Latino American History Month in America. There's a lot of different, you know, people in, you know, in America and Canada.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, Black History Month is special. It's really special. But I'm Black every day.
And they said, "Oh, what are you doing?" And they said, "What do you do in February for Black History Month?" I said, "No, same thing. Every day, every show is is indigenous, whatever. I don't see those lines. I just hear music, and right." I know you feel, we also share a belief that music can heal. It's not just a phrase, it's not just a bumper sticker, Kev. It's for certain. It can heal. You getting that feeling apparently over these last 2 years?
Well, it heals every day. Music heals. Music is a medicine that we're always taking in, whether we're aware of it or not, like air. We're always breathing.
Breathing.
And everything we do has some music involved in it, you know. You go to the doctor's office, they got music playing. You grab in your car, you turn music on. You know, you turn on a TV show to see a story, and there's music in the background. You know, you turn on the news, there's music in it. It's consumed all the time. And so that little bit of healing, that little bit of, it's like what you eat every day. Like maybe like, you know, you like sweet potatoes and whatever healing qualities your food has, it keeps on healing you. And music is like a food for the ears and the soul and the body, and it keeps on giving you this something that you need. And when you don't get what you need, or you overload your body with too much stress or whatever, then you start getting sick.
Anxiety. Yeah.
Then you need a big dose of something from the pharmaceutical country.
You know, I should have asked you at the beginning, as I always remind myself to do. Are you safe? Are you well? How's your family? Everything good?
Yes, I'm good. Okay. I'm better than ever, man. I feel pretty good. I don't look that good, but I feel fantastic.
I'm 10 years ahead of you.
Yeah, wow.
And we've crossed a lot of the same paths. And when people ask me how I'm doing, I'm saying I'm upright, I'm breathing. What more can I ask for?
Yeah.
Right?
It gets to be when you get old. As you get older, it's just the priorities really shift, and it's really liberating.
I was looking at. I rarely look at the charts. I don't know why. Because my heart is my chart. Good to Be, #1 blues album. #5 Music Connect. #1 Heat Seeker. #1 iTunes a blues chart. #13 current CDs.
That must be Canada. Yeah, I guess you guys haven't heard Eric Gill's record yet. That must be why it's still #1.
I also notice. I mean, I'm in the middle of moving, and the first thing I move, of course, would be my music. I found a suitcase, and I found the door. You're always move. Your producers change. Your co-writers change. Your guests change. It's like you're seeking the next part of your life, the next chapter of your life. Or am I simplifying it?
That's not a conscious thing. That's a subconscious thing that happens. And I change with life. If I was okay with the same producers and the same guests all the time, I would just do that. You know, that's a formula too, that, you know, some people, one person does all their records and that works. For me, I like to be the main producer. I like to be the center of my creative universe. You know.
I get that. I understand that.
So everybody that's rotating around is around me is like a little solar system, and you know, I'm not the most important part. Every part is important, but I'm the common denominator.
Do you surround yourself with people, or are you attracted to people who perhaps went through many of the growing up marks that you did, being broke, having, I think it was $14 in your pocket, is one of the songs that just
Paul delay.
Yeah.
$14 in the bank, $1,500 worth of unpaid bills.
I mean, you can tell those people. You can tell those people. You can tell people who've earned every stripe that they got, and it shows in your music as well.
Well, you start from where you start, you know, and I think the life process is bigger than being broke. Is if you're broke, or if you're like doing all right, like you know my one person I really admire, like Taylor Swift. She didn't grow up broke.
No.
You know, but she started from where she was.
Well, somebody taught her right, because she had those in her, that attitude in her bones. She's strong.
Yeah, the work ethic. So it's not always about broke, and I like to kind of stay off of broke, because not that I embrace my broke years very very near and dear to me, because they're my years and it's my life.
Yeah,
you know, but I've studied a lot about maybe consciousness as it comes to whatever your needs become in life, you know, that so that what you need comes to you in the form of, it could be money, love, food, shelter, you know. Yeah.
How long, speaking of coming to you, Kev, how long did it take to actually find your voice? The voice you wanted to use, the voice that said, oh, this is you.
That happened it culminated at about 1992.
A moment, a time. What was the memory of it?
Well, I remember just all of a sudden I started writing again.
Yeah.
You know, well, I wasn't writing before. You know, I took a break from really heavy into writing, and I had really studied the blues and really did a lot of soul searching, and I just decided that I had put the time in, and I was in, and I'm worthy, you know. I resigned. I let go, you know. I released myself from the chains of looking at success as something
yes
that what other people think of you.
Chasing that rabbit.
Yeah, I stopped chasing the rabbit.
Wow.
You know, then the rabbit started chasing me, I guess.
And well, it showed itself now. I mean, look at the music.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this is a love letter to Compton, from one thing.
Yes.
And here's the thing that I've learned from this song and your comments and thoughts on Compton is that me being thousands of miles removed, I only ever heard about Compton when there was trouble, strife, when it was a dark time. And I didn't think of it as a community. You brought that. You colored that with your palette, this community of Compton, and then you get in your car and you drive around. You on the video, the Compton Cowboys. I didn't know about the Compton Cowboys.
Yeah, it's a community, and it's a cool community, you know, that happened to have a little trouble, you know. But I mean, out of that trouble, look what one of the greatest musical acts in history ever come out of Compton, you know, NWA.
Yeah.
Talk about a groundbreaking, you know, just, you know, highly creative, highly, you know, real act, you know, but that's way after me, you know, NWA.
Yeah.
I'm a 60s Compton guy. I grew up in the 60s in Compton.
The Compton that you left and the Compton you went back to, vastly different?
Yes.
For the better? For the better?
Like in the song, I say, like, back in the block, back in the hood, who would have known to feel so good? Everybody I know has gone away. Well, almost everybody I know has gone away. But the neighborhood is still the same. It's still that place where people come to rise up, where people come to lift themselves up, you know. The housing is still somewhat affordable.
Wow.
It's a very humble town. It's got some, you know, everybody's not white, everybody's not black,
Yeah.
everybody's not Latino. It's just one of those communities that at the heart of it, even when I got there in the 60s, late 50s, there was a soul to Compton that even because we said the Caucasians were leaving because they were afraid of they was afraid of us. They were leaving. There was still what they left behind was very good.
Such as?
Well, they left behind a structure, a good school system.
All right. I was thinking about education. Yeah.
Music programs.
Yeah.
The buildings, the town structure. What was left behind was awesome. But I think because of maybe lack of opportunity and declining urban things, Compton, like a lot of other cities and neighborhoods, in Black communities, suffered because the education system is based on the school tax system, which is usually purely to how much tax that the community gets to fund their schools.
Exactly.
Canada, but that's how it is in the States.
I had the opportunity. I spent 5 years in Piedmont, just above Oakland, on a contract in San Francisco, and the Oakland that I saw was pretty broken, and those buildings were boarded up, and it was a ghost town. Yeah. I went back for a Raiders game 2 years ago, and it's completely changed. It's completely changed. It is what it should have been in the first place. Glorious. So there is renewal, but it needs leadership, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also there's a lot of gentrification in Oakland, which is, people of higher income brackets coming in seeking opportunity, the overflow from San Francisco.
Yeah.
And Palo Alto and these affluent communities, Cupertino, up in the Bay Area, those places get crowded and they get overpriced, and people start creeping out into which is Oakland, And Oakland was the home of Sly Stone.
No kidding.
Tower of Power.
Tower of Power, man.
A lot of great music came out of Oakland, but it was a neighborhood it's a lot like Compton.
Yeah.
One of those places, like Brooklyn, New York, or just those out in Queens where people are, is the soil is fertile, and there's a lot of desire, a lot of ambition, people that don't have, that want to have. And so they're rising, they're figuring out ways to rise up.
What music do you remember growing up in Compton? In your household, because your family came from the Deep South, so it would have been a mix of all of those roots that they brought with them and whatever you were hearing around you. And did it shape?
That was a generation where that was like a very upwardly mobile generation that came from the South. Like a lot of the Southern people I know, they had two ways of talking. There'll be the newscaster talk the straight, non-accented American, hello, how are you? And then theirs was like, hey, what's going on? What's happening here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like they all had two accents, two voices that they would use in public, and the one that was used in the community. And so Nat King Cole, people like that.
Yeah.
And Miles Davis and
Kind of Blue.
People were listening to, a lot of things. They're going to church, gospel, R&B, blues, and there was a mixed bag. But there was also those things like Johnny Mathis and Quincy Jones and upwardly things that were more sophisticated. So, people were moving away from the blues. Even back then, they were moving away from it because that was a Deep South thing. Then came hip hop and disco and Motown, which was totally rooted in the blues. I mean, when you listen to Motown, but Motown was classic black culture moving into the mainstream. And Berry Gordy called it the sound of young America. He didn't call it the sound of Black America. He called it the sound of young America, meaning that they want everybody to hear it. They want to be more sophisticated. We didn't want to be, country and unsophisticated. We wanted to be sophisticated, and we were. We dressed well, we carried ourselves well, and that was the era I grew up in.
I got to do my work here. I need some. I need the writer, producer, arranger, artist to speak on a couple of tracks. Speaking of country, "Good Strong Woman," co-produced with Vince Gill.
Yes.
Good strong song.
Thank you.
And solid. I mean, the title. It's of the generation of in my brain. It's of the movie that came out saying. It was called Snakes on a Plane. You knew what you were getting. You knew what you were getting when you went into that theater. Well, you got a song called "Good Strong Woman." That's exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah.
And remind people not to take them for granted. That's what it is.
Yes. Yes.
You and Vince Gill go back a ways.
Yeah, we go back a long way now. I guess we're back about probably 20 years now, I guess. It went by fast, but I met him probably 20 years ago. Way long before I moved to Nashville.
Where did you hook up with the Old Crow Medicine Show? Was it on the road somewhere?
I met Ketch at a place in Leaper's Fork down here in Franklin, Tennessee called the Greens Grocer. And a lot of things happened down there, events, just fundraisers and things. And Ketch was down there doing a solo performance, and he invited me to come up and play with him. I just sat and played with him, and he said, "Hey man, we gotta really, let's do something." And then we would talk periodically, and meet and talk seriously about making something happen. And that's where Medicine Man came out of.
I can't help but notice that you covered Grandma's Hands albums ago, and now Lean on Me, Bill Withers' songs, his song book. Where did you meet, and did you get to play with each other?
Where's the first time I met Bill? The first time I met him, where was he at? I think it was at a concert at a club, and his daughter was playing there. And him and his wife came, my mom, Mr. and Mrs. Bill Withers came to support her daughter, and that's where I met him.
I can remember him telling me that he, when his music wasn't being played and he couldn't get the next step forward, he went back to doing airplane work, putting in toilets in airplanes and things, and just keeping paying the bills and things. So he also found a way through. His music finally found its audience. Yep.
Yeah, he was doing it, and he told me that story. He said he made that first album with "Ain't No Sunshine" on there.
Yeah,
those are great songs. And he went back to work, and he told all the people that he had made a record. They didn't believe him.
That's right. Yeah.
So he just went on about his business. So this idea of iconic stardom didn't mean that much to him in terms of, he put his face in what he could actually produce in that moment, So he, like a man, he went back to work to take care of his business, pay his bill,
I have to ask you about Quiet Moments with Kristen Chenoweth. It's a beautiful closer, beautiful.
Thank you.
How did the project come together? How did you two?
That song was written in the late 70s, co-written by David Brian Oliver and myself. And we had that song for years, and it's one of those songs that sticks in your craw. And so we brought it out again, and we I told him I was going to put it on the record. So I put it on the record. I figured it out. We had to figure it out. We went in and tweaked it a little bit. It wasn't crude, but it lacked the sophistication of music we both have now. So it was an idea that took 40 years to kind of come to fruition. Because even today, last year, in putting that song together, I had to really go in detail and look at every note again. Now there wasn't vast changes. It pretty much sounds like it sounded in 1978,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But now, with a note here and there fixed, a slight voicing on a chord fixed there, a melodic thing there, one word changed here and there, it turned into that. And then adding Kristen Chenoweth was the cherry on top. you know, it was like, it was just having her to sing on that just really made it very legit and very beautiful thing, in the statement. She was kind enough to work. I appeared on her album, her Christmas album, singing Merry Christmas Baby. That's how I made that connection. So I asked her would she sing on this song, and she did.
She did.
She did, man.
Of course she did. I want to ask you about two tracks not on the album. Oh, and one that I've been playing all my life. Well, since you've made it.
Yeah.
That's Elmore James, Marshall Sehorn's "It Hurts Me Too," and it shows it's you doing a workhorse, an old war horse of a blues song that everybody's taking a run at, from a bar band just formed. Give me, "It Hurts Me Too," and but you added you freshened up the bottom end, you freshened it up, but you still made it groove. I love what you did with that song, and that's what attracted me to it. I had never heard it done like that, and I went, and it's honest, and it's fresh, and it's good. I'll stick with this one. Well done.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. 'Cause I go to great lengths to, if I change something that's the blues, to do my very best to maintain the integrity
Yeah.
of the feeling. So I picked a groove that I felt, had the, I mean, "It Hurts Me Too" is a classic. It's just, what a beautiful sentiment. What a beautiful, song. It's like I think it's probably the precursor to it. But something is wrong with my baby, something is wrong with me.
I also found you hiding. I don't have the album in front of me, but I remember that you were on a track with, I think, the London Symphony Orchestra, or Chamber Orchestra. Let me think.
Those Shakespeare sonnets.
Yeah, yes. Say Shakespeare, yes. That's the
Yeah.
one. And you brought the groove to it. It was fantastic. You didn't come in the back door. You came through the front and kicked it open. It was wonderful.
It was a record of Shakespeare sonnets, and the one called me, asked me to do it was the late Michael Kamen,
Yes.
film composer. He called me and said, "Would you do this sonnet?" And after that, we became pretty good buddies, until he died. I went to hung out with him at his house, and
But you were well out of your element there. What were your thoughts going in?
I sat with him.
Yeah.
I asked questions.
Sure.
What the sonnet was, and so those sonnets were based on a certain template that Shakespeare used to create those sonnets. So I looked at each one of them, and I just read it over and over, listened to it, which I do with everything. I just, when I'm asked to do something, I don't just go and just throw something together. I think about it. Now that doesn't mean the results are always like, stellar or like that, but I do put everything into it. And I haven't heard that one for a long time. And, I got to perform it once in London at the theater. What's the name of the theater in London? Well, the Shakespeare Theater.
The Shakespeare Theater.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Some,
sure.
I don't know, it has a name.
Speaking of playing, I'm impressed with the tour dates you've got, because you're all over America, and then you're heading for Europe, solo artist, and your year is going to be full. So I'm sure that there was a bit of a conflict within you. You'd like to be on the road, you'd like to be making music and do what you do, a troubadour, but at the same time, you got 2 years with your family, with your kids, and
I totally embraced that.
yeah.
I totally went like, okay, how long we gotta stay here? And I looked at my wife. I said, well, let's look at the money. How long can we? How long can we stay at home? And then we just we figured it out. We tightened our belt, and there was luckily some government incentive plan came in, so we were able to pay our people,
Yeah.
you know, for the missed time on the road, because we got people, people that depend on us.
And I know
And
you
so,
would have loved that time at home, but I bet you can't wait to get out onto that
no,
stage.
no, 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 no. I love being at home.
Have you seen
I
your
love,
tour? Have you seen your tour dates? Okay.
yeah, I know. I love being where I am, you know,
Sure.
especially because where you are, wherever you go, there you are, you know.
Yeah.
This is what I'm dealing with today, and thank goodness for technology, phones, and FaceTime, and
No
things that
kidding. No kidding.
help me
Uh,
to.
what are your memories of playing in Canada? Some of the festivals.
I remember most is the one way up the Winnipeg Folk Festival.
Yeah.
I really like that one because there's this real small window of when you can have a festival, and, and it's just like there's such joy.
Yeah.
That's where I met Ruthie Foster for the first time.
Wow.
The Winnipeg First Folk Festival, and um, man, I don't. It's just it's cool. It's very much like a European folk festival. The Winnipeg. Canadian festivals are
Yeah.
they're very broad in scope.
The side stages you can end up playing with somebody from Senegal, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
yeah. In Montreal, the Montreal Jazz
yeah.
Festival, fantastic.
Yeah.
So
I see you're doing. I think it's 5 days at San Francisco Jazz. Well done.
5 days.
Yeah, or 4 days, something like that. 4 days, 5 nights.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I'll be there.
and I'll be playing the music. Okay.
Thank you so much.
You can do any acting?
No.
Okay.
Why would I act? I mean, like, there's so many great actors out there.
Well, if they just ask you to play you could do that.
I can do that. I mean, I'll do it, but I don't go looking for it.
Okay.
You got to remember all those lines. You got to remember where to walk and step. You got to know where your light is, and you have to. It's really hard to do.
Well, I know you got to go. And well, what's my time? Oh, it's 90 seconds. Hold on, Ola. Do you have one grand plan yet before you're done? Have you got something? Do you want to get done a project that you've always wanted to do?
Well, this year, I'm gonna expand my capacity to create
Okay.
because in the pandemic, based on technology,
Sure.
a lot of technologies that we had to use, like Zoom and like file sharing and things, programs that you can be you can be anywhere in the world, in a studio and hear what's going on and comment on it, and get files sent to you. So I'm gonna up my production to get more done this year.
Two questions.
On,
Two questions. Did the blues find you, or did you find the blues?
Blues found me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And secondly, when who was that wonderful guy? The guy who used the phrase Keb Mo instead of Kevin Moore. Yeah. How did that change everything?
Well, I started using Keb Mo,
But again, you were talking in the beginning. You were talking about a news introduction. Yeah, well, here we are, and when you're amongst people, it's well, how are you? How you doing? You're doing well, right? Did it change the way people approached you and saw
No.
you? Okay.
Keb Mo is Kevin Moore and Keb Mo are the same. They're
Sure they are.
clearly,
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
I
man.
appreciate you.
Thank you.
And hoping I'm get to come to Canada soon and
Please
and
do.
play.
Congratulations on the album.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank
Peace.
you.
Bye bye.
Keb Mo on the Mulligan Stew podcast. All you ask of a guest is to be even half of what you think they are. You want not to be disappointed in your heroes. And Keb's just one of those guys. It's just a continuation of what I believe music to be. Honest, straight up, talk to me, no BS, but especially be honest. And Keb Mo is a very honest man and a high moral ground, and I really like him for that and his music and his voice and his thoughts and the kind of person that he is and how he treats other people. Thank you, Keb Mo. Thank you, thank you. The album, Good to Be. Find it. It'll change. Well, it won't. Maybe it might not change your life. It'll sure make you feel better. Okay? All right. Next week on the Mulligan Stew podcast, another Kevin Hearn from Bare Naked Ladies. But he's far more than that, friends. He is a member, and of course a key member of Bare Naked Ladies, one of the songwriters now. But he also led the band in the final years of Lou Reed's time. And when he took to the stage, it was Kevin Hearn that led the band, organized the band, rehearsed it, made them shine. And he's released an amazing album that is solo piano. 3 pianos in 3 rooms. He walked in, he played for upwards of 3 hours, and went home. Tried to play as though he were in a solitary space, which he almost was, except for the people who, recorded the audio. So that's what we have next week with Kevin Hearn from Bare Naked Ladies, his solo album, solo piano, improvisation. I'm Terry David Mulligan. Subscribe, if you will, on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and then the podcast will come to you each and every week. And we hope to entertain and enlighten and enjoy. And heading for episode 200, we'll tell you about it as we go. Thank you.